When something terrible happens, we all ask ourselves the same question. Why wasn't this prevented? Why didn't the police act? Why didn't they stop it before it happened? That question right there, that's a very human question to ask. But the truth, especially from somebody that has worked in search and rescue, is far more complex than it seems. Policing, as we know it today, is primarily a reactive institution. It is not designed, at its core, to prevent every tragedy from happening. Modern policing is built on legal frameworks, procedural constraints, and a mandate that kicks in after a law has been broken. Police officers are not free agents. They can't just detain somebody without a probable cause. Everything from just a regular traffic stop to a search warrant has to be backed by established protocols and legal backing. So when officers even know that something might be wrong or is wrong, when their instincts are screaming somebody is in danger, if the evidence doesn't exist or the legal threshold hasn't met, their hands may be tied. From a search and rescue perspective, this reality hits really hard. Let me explain that. In SAR search and rescue operations, we deal with the potential loss before it becomes a confirmed loss. When somebody goes missing, we don't wait for confirmation of a crime. We mobilize when a call comes in. We search, and we always assume urgency because every missing person case is an urgency. But in police work, that might not always be possible. So let's take a missing person case. If an adult disappears with no signs of foul play, no threats, or a history of violence, the police might not have the legal authority to act or to treat it as a crime. And so the clock ticks. Families panic and SAR teams often arrive after the crucial hours have been passed. It's not incompetence from the police. It's also not apathy from the police. It's a structure. It's the box that police are forced to operate within. Now, let's contrast that with the public's expectations that police should always anticipate, intercept, and intervene before disaster strikes. But prevention, especially here in a free society that we very much enjoy, if we empower police too much, it becomes a paradox. And then we risk more of our civil liberties. Balancing this is very, very, very delicate. There's absolutely no question, also in my mind, that prevention is ideal. This is also in the eyes of the police officers. Every department wants fewer crimes. But prevention requires actionable intelligence. It requires patterns, credible threats, or probable cause. For example, imagine somebody calls the police about their neighbor's suspicious activities. Maybe their neighbor has been pacing outside at night, mumbling, and they might even have posted unsettling things online. Unless there is a direct threat, the police might not be legally able to intervene. Their job is not to police fun. Their job is to enforce laws. Sometimes, without concrete evidence even, the best trained officer might be forced to walk away. This is not about the desire not to act. It's just the constraints that we have to work with, and the police have to work with it. And this is where it hurts. The human cost. Because when this tragedy does strike, everyone, the media, the families, the public turns to the police and asks them, why didn't you stop it? Why didn't you act? But then they see that the police officer who tried, who filed the report, who followed up with the tip, but couldn't get a warrant. The police officer might intriguingly know, so within its heart know that something was wrong, but either was by policy or law, you can't act yet. This is not just frustrating, it is absolutely soul crushing for everybody. For those of us who are in SAR, we know what it's like to arrive just too late. For the police, the chance to try is often taken away until it's too late to matter. So, how are we going to move forward in this matter? What are we going to do from here? The solution is not, absolutely not, to vilify the police. It's to foster better understanding about their role and the constraints they operate under. It's about improving collaboration between law enforcement, mental health services, social workers, and yes, search and rescue teams. And more importantly, it's about fostering public awareness. It's about building systems that allows for the intervention without compromising freedom. It's about giving the police the tools they need to act, not just react. And this needs to be done ethically, legally, and effectively. And it's about empathy for the officers who work within the impossible constraints that they deal with every single day, and for the communities who suffer the consequences. If we want a better system, we have to understand it better. All of it. The failures, the limitations, and the intention. And then, together, we will find ways to do it better. Because prevention does not just begin with power. It begins with understanding. So, if you have found this perspective to be useful for you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And if you had experience from either a law enforcement, search and rescue, or either you maybe be a family member from somebody that went missing, let us know your thoughts, your experience in the comments below. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. This is Robin, search and rescue instructor for NASAR and Emhance International. See you next time.